Hello, this is Gerald van Waas. I have developed a technique, a method with which to learn how to recognize the letters as positions in time and space, the letters as letters combinations as a formation process. It takes a while to get used to the ideas because there are several references that you have to follow and you have to think with a certain logic. So a bit of repetition would be good to get used to it, and just by showing examples you also get used to recognize, at the end you start to recognize certain letters and letter combinations. I think that's a good thing, and I will use for that a comparison of an English word with a Dutch word. I will use chess, which I have used before, and SCHAAK, which is the Dutch word, DAMMEN, which is the Dutch word, and checkers is the English words. And okay, let's go and investigate what we get if we combine those letters and see what they mean, what kind of positions they are, and how the positions actually not just are formed, but also are making associations from their positions. So we start with ch. Ch is that kind of estimation of the sea, the estimation which goes in between a certain zone at the edges, tries to estimate what it is seeing. It's not seeing the physical things very well, and it's trying to get a view, an objective view over what it can see and what it cannot. This is within a range a bit further away, so it is within this wider range that it tries to estimate everywhere in the full space what it is actually that it sees. It tries to estimate what it is, and that's based upon the theory that I'm not going to talk about that now. This is about the results. This is the result of ch. In a way you can also see it like I'm going to the word chess now, but if you would have, for instance, a word which is quite similar, cheese, it also starts from this zone. Start to estimate also the material in that case. The E are the ingredients then at that point. It's what it's inserted as ideas that you try to follow. So in that way it will try to figure out the taste in that way. Here it is different. It's also from far away, an estimation within a certain area, and it wants an objective view. Here it's not with E or ideas or ingredients or what's inserted. It's just about E with a short E. E is always related, very simple, with timing. So it is chess, so it tries to estimate over something far away, a bit of at a distance, what is there in an objective sense in a time frame, so in time frames. And because of the H, it is also a time frame, but within a certain area where all the interactions will work. Of course it will be some variations, so it's not really that weird that it also will fit to a pattern that you can put onto it, because these variations, you know, a chessboard has it has also, of course, these different directions. It is trying to estimate where it is going, where the things are going in time. And with the S, it's at the real borders. It is the influences in a two-dimensional plane then, with S and S from two sides, that tries to estimate what are the variations there, what is the causes and effect there. That's the S, that's what the S is about. And it is this pattern which is described here is very easily compared to, of course, the chessboard. And of course, if I put the variations there and I have them, you can almost follow the sort of variations that you can have in there. Not necessarily all the variations that they have in the chessboard, but you have the idea. The Dutch word schaak is starting from the border, from the causes and effects, with the g. G is also a kind of estimation in between the S. It is an estimation of all the variations at the border. So here it is more about, what kind of rules do I have? What kind of patterns of effects can I cause from there? So this is more on the opposite view, not from how the board looks, but how I work with it. And the A is the forward move from one position to another position, or it can be making connections. In the S, it will, from the S onwards, it will follow the variations onwards, horizontally, into the direction of confirmations, trying to figure out where it will go to, in that way, horizontally. And it ends with K, or a breaking point. So it is really finding out from the borders what kind of variations with cause and effect we can cause, and cause to have an effect that something will change from there. So schaak in that way is really about that part that you want to achieve a change during that influence from outside. You can recognize that kind of thing there. It's more like as if it is about the rules of chess. The rules of chess not necessarily on a board, but within an area that can be estimated to have some cause and effect, and that effect is the ak at the end, so the breaking point, that kind of breaking point at the end. You can recognize those letters, and maybe there's another way also to see the same thing from the same viewpoint. But okay, this is already an example in which direction a letter combination is making a logic from there. And from step to step, that's of course what you wanted to achieve. You have with schaak, with chess, the word schaak, schaak. You also have schaak mat. That's the end position. With the mat, it presses itself into a position where there is no other way that in that way. With schaak, it will indeed be a breaking point. That's the way how you can understand it. The other word, dam, or it's that's from the other game of the board game with the round players that you have on the board. You have the D, which is expressed here. The D is a position of change in time from one position to a next. Pressure towards the changed position. With A, following that direction of going for that changed position. You have also dam, which is a word, by the way. Dam, you know the dam for the water dam. You can almost recognize it where it will go to. So it will go to that new move. And the M is that very large area that is contained and is trying to get to its maximum of form, and it's going towards, it pressures itself towards that form. Like the dam is holding water behind a wall, you can also recognize it. But this is about dammen, or the game of checkers. And with the N are always the smaller parts that come out of the big one. In this case, we know the pattern of the game board, so it's not necessary that it is this form. It could have been spread differently. But men in general is actually the large frame of M, in which you have the whole set of maximized forms, and the N are the parts that can be taken out or are distincting themselves there, and that it can be presented as a pattern quite easily as this, in any way how it will of course fit to what you need, or what is division that is forming itself during a certain period. So dammen is very clearly fitting well with that board and the pressure to go from one position also to the next, in a way also in a horizontal plane as well, in horizontal planes or forward moves. Checkers is then the English word, which is a bit less clear then again, but it is the ch as well, just like before. You still have this frame from outside is trying to estimate what you have there, what is available there or not, just like checking out, and the and the S at the end as this, almost like the rules and regulations at the end of the out and after effects of causes and effects at the end, with also these breaking points. You check indeed something out to, over a certain time, make a connection to it, also to create breaking points that of changes as cause and effect. You see that sometimes it's weird that the English word is quite clearly, and the Dutch is the Dutch word of chess or schaak is more on this level. It's more about this breaking point also. You want to have a change somewhere within that area that you want to estimate. I think you could recognize the directions that the word is directing itself towards. It might not be the best example and the most clear example, and maybe at some other point I can make better balanced expression of it, but I am always I'm convinced, and I don't see anything to change that opinion, that every word as a letter combination is really directing itself towards a certain combinations of positions that are necessary and that are needed to express a certain the word itself. And I hope this example also brought you closer, not just to the underlying directions that are there, but also gave you an opportunity again to imagine certain combinations of letters a little bit better. And sometimes I will succeed a bit better than the other times, but I hope this will already be another contribution. There's some books there, there's a website too with a list of words, and there's a Facebook page too, and if you like, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.